Hey,
I'm here in James' magnificent game basement room where he produces many of his nerd videos, amongst others.
here in the nerd's lair.
The nerd lair, yes. I just wanted to, maybe go through, since game reviewers usually don't talk about the process that goes into making these. The viewers sometimes, I'm not going to say they always take for granted how much time and effort goes in, but they don't sometimes understand the process. So maybe we'll illuminate that a little bit for you guys. So you start with your games. And I guess, how do you pick out what game you want to really review?
Picking out a game. You're just like, you ever feel like overwhelmed that there's so many to pick from, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's over 750 Nintendo games, and the problem, at least with me, is do I want to do something that I can do a good review of, or something that's be more interesting, or a combination? I know with you, you're more gravitating towards the bad games.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for you, you already have like almost like a smaller subsection of games that you can choose from. That probably doesn't narrow it down enough, though, does it?
No, like sometimes, I'll play a game and, I'll notice like a few things in a game that I want to talk about, but it's not enough to base a whole video on. So sometimes, you play a bunch of games till you find a bunch of them that fit together. Or sometimes you find the right combination, like maybe you could like do a bunch of different games in the same video, and
Okay.
it works out.
So you search more for, say, like a connecting theme between games, or else you're searching for, okay, is this game disastrous enough that I can make a review of it?
Yeah, basically you just gotta figure out what kind of angle the video is gonna go. Is this gonna be like, constant rapid fire funniness, or is it more like,
Like a Halloween theme, it's got to be a Halloween game, or a Christmas theme, it's got to be a Bible game.
yeah.
Okay.
And whatever the game is, like, dictates the whole video. It's like if it's a game that has bad control, a lot of the video is probably going to be just showing a lot of game footage of you trying to like make a hard jump or something and failing over and over again and reacting to it like in a way that's like you're reacting to it as you're playing it, you know? So you get a lot of that kind of thing, just like situations in the game that are difficult.
So do you write as you play the game, or do you sort of write afterwards, or after you played all the game, capture the footage, or do you sort of, go back to it and find more stuff to write about when you're doing these?
Yeah, because there's no right answer, but I traditionally I play the game first. That's always where it starts. Then the writing starts after that. There were some, I think, where I kind of did sort of a hybrid, kind of like I was sort of writing during the gameplay and then I wasn't, because sometimes if you're familiar with the game you can already write something that you know about it, but then you need the game footage to go with that. So sometimes you need to play the game again and record more footage of you doing the things that you're talking about in the script. But most of the time it works out best just from things that happen in your recording. So what dictates the whole script is whatever happens in the gameplay. Because you don't want to write something and then you don't have the footage for it to show it. So,
So you start with the idea, then you search for the gameplay elements to sort of fill it out? Okay.
Yeah, record everything, and as I'm recording the footage, I'm taking notes as I'm going.
And it sort of drops together what you're planning on doing in your video.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's to me the roughest part, is playing through the footage and then marking it off, saying, okay, at 5 minutes, 24 seconds, this happens. At 18 minutes, 29 seconds, this happens. That keying in the time codes for everything, that
helps a lot.
It helps a lot, but it's very time consuming. But you
Yeah.
get the work done up front versus going back
Yeah.
while you're editing and then figuring out, oh my god, when did I hit the frog with the hammer? Then you gotta
That's
search.
the worst.
So you gotta
scanning for that.
You gotta be like, okay, where's the frog? Where's the hammer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you gotta search through your footage again, and that takes forever.
So you're just scrubbing through the footage real fast.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, where the hell is it? Even like the smallest things that you don't know you're going to talk about, like you get some item in the game and then you have the time code for that, then you'll always know. But while you're playing it, you might not know what footage you're going to use,
Yes.
so you can easily overlook that stuff, and then later you're going to just be kind of fucked, and then you're like, all right, fuck, I got to go play the game again and got to re-record this part.
Well, we both our videos, especially mine usually have a dramatic ending and beginning to them, which people say my videos are long. But Do you decide when doing a game whether or not you want to put up like, say, you know, add in a character or do something special at the end where you blow the game up?
Mm-hmm.
I know earlier on in your videos it was more about destroying the game
Oh,
for the
yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
And then there's only, I guess, so much
For
you
an
can do with
ending.
that. Yes.
Yeah, endings are always tough because you want it to end. You don't want it to just the video
Fizzle out.
stop. Like something's got to happen.
Yeah.
So
That can be challenging, you know, and
yeah. So it's always just whatever comes to your mind, whatever's natural.
Is there any criticism of your stuff that you
Um,
ever thought that was either maybe not justified, but you thought of, wow, that really surprised me, or
Sure, all the time. I think maybe the Spider-Man one was a good example because it was such an experiment, and I think some people were like, okay, well, you know, I put my friend in a Spider-Man costume and he's like cursing at the game just like I would, and to
Yeah.
me that's what I thought was funny, just to hear Spider-Man flip out.
and no lie, that I told you before, that was my absolute favorite video I've ever done, was a Spider-Man. I'm not even kidding. I thought the fact that you guys are just hanging out, playing the game, it was very spontaneous. I thought that made the video, the reactions.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
So some of your fans didn't, I guess, appreciate that. They thought no work went into that or something.
Or more, I don't know. It was like a lot to do with, you know, people were like, oh, Spider-Man wouldn't curse like that. It's like, well, no, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
To, you know, you know?
I got it.
Yeah, but you know, it was also a different kind of video. That one we were literally playing the game. We actually had the TV in front of us when we were playing, which was difficult in that room. I remember because the TV was not. It wasn't like this where the TV was really in front of like the couch. It was just me in a corner with a chair, and the TV wasn't there. It was there. It was like this wall.
So
we actually we pulled out like a separate TV just for that episode and hooked it up to that because it was just.
You used an older TV, didn't you, for that?
Yeah, in fact, we used that older TV I have over here. Well, you know, you want to talk about reactions? I think a really interesting one was for board games, actually.
Okay.
I did two videos. I did that each had opposite reactions. But I did a Deadly Danger Dungeon, which was a game that I made up. It wasn't even a real game.
Okay.
I made the game when I was like 13 years old, and I thought it'd be funny to review a game I made as a kid. So I did that, and it's just a game I drew on a piece of poster board. So I'm thinking nobody's gonna like this one because it's like, you know, they're gonna say like,
it's too simple,
it doesn't count.
It's not a real game.
Yeah, but they loved it. They loved that one, and people made their own fan games based off it and everything.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It had a very positive reaction.
So have you ever tailored your videos? I mean, you're walking a line when you're doing your videos between what you want to do and what you enjoy versus what your audience wants. Do you find yourself struggling between maybe you would alter something to be, okay, this is more what the audience wants, versus saying, no, I want to do it my way. This is my artistic vision of doing this video. Or any times you ever like get pulled one way or the other, or try to find a balance there?
Maybe a little bit, but it's mostly at first you gotta trust yourself, because otherwise nothing's gonna work. It's like if you're not, because I mean you know better what the end video might come out like if you do it a certain way, because you're the one doing it.
True.
So you know what's in your mind and how it's gonna play out. But you can take suggestions a little bit, like if there's like, you know, the nerd, obviously, like if people are requesting a game a lot, I might sort of lean toward that game a little more than another, you know? Like if it's a toss-up between Back to the Future and Bad Street Brawler, and more people are saying do Back to the Future, then, you know, I'll, and as it is, I'm trying to decide myself.
Yeah.
I'll lean more towards the one people are requesting, yeah.
That makes sense.
Another thing about, like, the audience expectations sometimes.
Yeah.
Really, if you're reading comments all the time and there's like no way you could even, you know, do it, because like they'll say, because to me the common thing, it's like he's not angry enough or he's too angry. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, how do you know what's angry? So, you know, just do it yourself. Like,
their expectation of what your character should be. And then I guess some people have different notions of what they want in your videos, and no one's ever going to agree on it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing what that is.
And it's never going to make any sense, because it's like unless somebody gives you like a very detailed like explanation of what they mean, like constructively, you're not going to get that too often. So you're never really going to know. And then at a certain point, it's like something you can't really explain. So it's something only you really know what to do.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're the one performing it, writing it. You're the one shooting it, editing it. So you know how it should go, and they have a vision of it, but maybe their vision. I don't want to say it's it's not. How should I put this? Their vision isn't. It's not wrong for them, but in their head they have their own version of what the character, what the video should be. So if it strays from that and goes into something else, then they don't know what to do or react to it. Maybe that's what I'm guessing.
yeah. And sometimes you get things that are like, oh, I like the videos that are more like informative, and I like the ones that are more like, you know, well, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. You can be like, okay, well, you know, that makes sense. So there's certain things, but you can't really listen to much, too many things, because it's just going to drive you insane if you do.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're getting 100,000, different comments, you can't really consolidate all of that. You just got to kind of pick and choose what makes sense and what doesn't if you want to do that. Now,
Yeah.
do you get excited when a new video goes online? If I say the new nerd video of the month goes online, do you get excited to see what the reaction is, or are you just sort of like, oh my god, it's out, I'm so tired,
Yeah.
I'll go to sleep and see what it's like tomorrow?
Oh yeah, like I mean, once a video goes up, I'm just like, oh, thank God that's over with now. You know? I mean, well, I finish them and then and then I wait till it goes online, But so they're usually not. I usually don't cut it too close, but I try to get ahead. That's the toughest thing. In a perfect world, this would be like television. I would film like a whole season of Angry Video Game Nerd, and then I would basically
spend months just
like
editing or just
yeah. And so, but what most of us do really is like we're just pumping out videos constantly, and once you finish one, you start on the other. So you're never gonna get ahead of yourself with. You're never gonna have like a bunch of episodes done and start releasing them unless you like took a break.
Well, I actually kind of did that because I moved a year ago.
Okay.
And the last 6 weeks I was in New Jersey while I was packing things. I was like, you know what? Once I move, I'm not going to have any time to shoot anything or think of anything. So I shot about 5 videos the last 6 weeks I was in New Jersey. And then even one, it was almost a year before I actually edited it. So I was just like, I was doing that. I was actually just shooting everything, pumping them out, and then didn't touch them for months. And I'm not sure if that's a good way to go because it's almost like the longer you got away from shooting it, the less attached you were to it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, I shot that. I got to edit that now. I'm like, okay. But it can work. It's just you got to have, I guess it's easier, if you have a team of people helping. It's like it's like most of these reviewers online, or it's a one-man job, 2 at the most. And it's just rough to just pump them out, and not trying to say, oh, woe is me, but it's just it's a lot of work.
You're one person.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I've done that a little bit. Like if there's a 3-part or 4-part video or something, or even just a 2-part, I'll usually have the whole thing written out before, and that's how I know where the different parts are, where it breaks up, and like know how one part ends. And then usually, since I have it all written beforehand, then I shoot them all together, and then I edit them all together. And once the editing starts, then they all start getting done like in a row. But for like a while, it kind of gets to the last minute because then you have all this footage you shot, and you're working on all these videos at the same time, but you need to hurry up and get one of them done because eventually one of them needs to get finished.
Yeah.
And
so other ones have to take a back seat for a little bit.
Yeah, they take a back seat.
Do you get any sort of different sort of enjoyment, or is the experience a lot different for when you work on, say, a video for months and months and it's not released versus a quick and dirty one you just get out there? Is any one more satisfying or least satisfying? There's some that you have that have more effects, some that don't have any effects. So how does that differ in your mind? Do you enjoy more or less?
It's I guess you'd say it's like a double-edged sword. It's like that kind of thing. It's like where you have like a positive and negative. It's like the Mr. Bucket video, I think, is a good example where it was this video I wanted to do more than more than most videos. It was like, okay, well, this is more than just a review of the game. This is like this, like, sort of like horror movie thing I wanted to do with it. And I was like, oh, that's just such a great idea because Mr. Bucket's so like creepy to begin with, and like I was like, oh, this is just a great idea, and I want to do this. And I had it in my mind for like a couple years maybe, but the only thing that was holding me back was, okay, like I'm not caught up enough with my other videos. If I start on this Mr. Bucket thing, it's gonna take like a month to make, and so basically I have to like not do anything else for that month.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, when I had like a month time to work on it, I worked on it, and then by the end of it, it was kind of like, okay, I really got to get this video done because I got to start on this other video and this other video, and you know, so by the time Mr. Bucket was done, it was definitely more satisfying than the other ones because it had all that effort I put into it, but at the same time, it's like, by the time I got to the end of it, I just hated it. I hated because while I was working on it, I was in the editing and I had to keep going to record like some Foley sound effects and everything because I didn't have the right sounds, and I needed more sounds of like Mr. Bucket, like the way he jiggles and stuff. So like, all right, fuck, I gotta get the fucking bucket out again. I got the bucket out of the box and I filmed the thing, and then I needed like sound effects of me like wrestling with the bucket, so I did that again. And by the time this was done, I was staring at the face of that bucket for so long. I was like, in my mind, it was almost like the video was becoming real. Like the bucket was still stalking me. I'm like, all right, I'm so sick of this bucket. I just want to put it in the box, put it in the basement, and just not look at it ever again.
Just drop.
So that was what that was like. But this is, of course, this is like, you know, videos for the internet. So this is like a very quick turnaround with everything. Mm-hmm. So making a feature film is like totally different thing. Like you're, you know, working on it for like a year, and then you're like kind of like you're putting love and effort into every little thing, and you know. So I look forward to get back to that.
Well, I don't have Cheetah Man.
Oh, Cheetah Man's right there.
I'm gonna be stealing this one right here. Cheetah Man without the H. No H on Cheetah Man.
There's no H, or is it?
There's no H.
Oh, the other H, yeah.
They spelled it wrong.
Yeah, that's so funny. Like, that was one thing I forgot to comment on the video.
Oh, you didn't?
No, unfortunately. See, there's always something you miss after a video.
No
You're like,
H.
oh, damn it, I didn't, like, you know.
Re-edit. Go back and re-edit it.
Yeah.
I demand it. Your fans demand it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.